Peace and light that old guy Australia. Like, share, subscribe, Instagram, YouTube, and a huge shout out. Hit the notification button and you'll know when I'm doing or releasing a video. Now, I'm pretty blessed. I just wanted to say that, first of all, I've got 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is just insane. So, really honoured, really humbled. Thank you very much. If you get anything out of my videos, take away a nugget or two here and there, or even a difference of opinion that you might want to debate against, that's a good thing, provided the conversation is started and the discussion goes on, because what we don't want is silence and compliance, okay? Secondly, thanks for all the messages. Yes, I'm okay. I did say yesterday that we had a bit of a burp in our lives and there were some things going on that we just need to deal with, which is why I couldn't do this video prior to this morning. I'm okay. We're house sitting at the moment here. Leanne's in Panama. Over in Panama. So we're house sitting, but some friends of ours had some issues and we just had to go and deal with them, and it was really traumatic. It was just not good. So it threw us a bit of a curveball. So I had no time to do this video or get anything organised, so I apologise. But thank you everybody. I wasn't trying to be oblique or secretive. I just couldn't, get to the video. That was all. So anyway, get on with stuff, Owen. All right, I will. This is my favourite T-shirt, or one of my favourite T-shirts. Now, if you're a guy, you'll know what the hell I'm talking about. You see this? Look, the neck's worn in. It's got some tears in it. Joe will throw it out. I'll go and get it out of the bin. Because it fits me. It's like me, old and worn in. I want to lose it, Joe. Stop it. It's a good. You got these T-shirts? If you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, just now I got it feeling good, and you go and throw it in a bloody bin. Like, what the hell? Yeah, it just finally fits. Anyway. So this was about McGowan. Look, everything that could be said about McGowan has been said. I don't think I have anything really new to add to the conversation. Are the rats deserting the sinking ship? Well, they are. They are. There's no doubt. Yes, that's true. There's no doubt in the world. But that's not going to save them in the end. It won't. They can't escape what's going to come. But in the meantime, they're going to win for a while. We know that. The CBDC will be introduced. There's no way around that. But that doesn't mean good people aren't fighting against it, because we are. But if you're not preparing yourself for the introduction of the CBDC, then I'm afraid you're going to get caught up in the system or lost in the system, and you're going to find it almost impossible, because that's what I want to do. They want to make it absolutely impossible for you to survive without signing on to their digital ID. Because I've seen how effective it is in China. So if they can do it in the Western world, happy days for them. And that's what I want to do. And that's how they will continue to roll this out, putting so much pressure on you, you'll think you have no choice. But look, you always have a choice. Anyway, so McGowan, probably one of the most, well, I would say one of the most evil people in Australia, but then you've got to include Andrews and Gunner, Palaszczuk, all of these Labor premiers, and Morrison, Liberal, and the Liberal Party itself, which has falsely portrayed itself as an opposition party, but in fact, two wings, one bird, same bird. And they're almost Keystone Cop, if you're old, you know what I'm talking about there, comical approach to being an opposition party, particularly during the elections, where Labor has gone in pretty much every state in Australia, but they except Tasmania, but that won't make any difference down there, because there's only 337 people live there. And Jackie Lambie, who's putrid. So the point being that they've put on this fake show, a bit of theatre about trying to be an opposition party, and it was never the case. It was comical to watch, as they pretended to shoot themselves in the foot and go, oh, well, we lost the election. Everything's a ploy. And that's what I wanted to get to with McGowan. If I had anything different to say, this is what I'd say. Yes, he's a rat deserting a sinking ship. I understand that. By the same token, as Dr. David Martin exposed in the European Parliament last week, they isolated the coronavirus in 1957. So this is nothing new. all this bullshit they went on with, all this absolute crap and rubbish they went on with about, oh my God, we've never seen this before. It's come from a pangolin, it's come from a bat, it's come from a wet market, it's come from God knows where. They isolated this virus in 1957. And Dr. David Martin shows you and gives you links to the patents that they put on. Oh, hang on, patents that they put on it. So we know what's going on in Ukraine. We know about the biolabs. We know what they've been doing there with gain-of-function research. They've moved from the US because they passed a law in the US where they were no longer allowed to use, or carry out, I should say, gain-of-function research. They moved it all to the Ukraine. So Putin's there going, you're not doing this shit just over the border from me. It's not happening. You can bomb us and you could let these weapons go and you wipe out half of Russia in a blink. I'm not having it. So what did they do? They brought the UN in and they said, well, we're going to bring Ukraine in as a United Nations member. And that means we can build a military base in Ukraine, which they did near the border. And Putin warned them again and again and again. So don't put that base near the border because we know that you can access. I'm not having it. The very first missile strikes, he blew the shit out of the the United Nations military base. And then he attacked the biolabs, which we were told 2 years ago didn't exist and were all conspiracy theorists, until the Department of Defense was grilled in the Senate hearing in Congress in the US, and they admitted to funding 32 biolabs in the Ukraine. So all that shit about us being conspiracy theorists, and all you people who said we were conspiracy theorists and we didn't know what we're talking about, and some of my mates are watching this, I'm guarantee it, because they're sideline watchers, and you know how damn well I'm talking about you. The shit you called me over that, and here we are. The Department of Defense in the US admitted to funding 32 of those biolabs in the Ukraine under oath in a Senate hearing. Ho, ho, ho. Merry frickin' Christmas. Gain-of-function research, do your dirty work in somebody else's country. But now it's going to be exposed, and they don't want it to be exposed, so they'll spend hundreds of billions of dollars to put up a proxy war against Russia so this shit doesn't get exposed. Happy days. Now, back to McGowan. This is all to do with the UN, the WHO, and the WEF with Klaus Schwab. Now, last year when Antonio Guterres from the United Nations, the Secretary General, came forward and said that he had a meeting with Klaus Schwab, a private billionaire with his private company, the World Economic Forum, those two had a meeting, and Guterres said in his press conference, we have agreed to bring Agenda 2030 forward. Now, if you don't know what Agenda 2030 is, I can't help you. Go and look it up, it's there. And every single thing that's happening right now is written on their websites. You can go and look for it. Go and look for it. Or you can sit back and call me whatever you want to call me. Who gives a rat's ass? But it's there. And that's what evil has to do. That's the whole concept of Satanism and evil, is that if they tell you what you're doing, or what they're doing, if they tell you what they're doing, and you comply with it, you're giving them permission to carry it out, and they're not held accountable for anything. That's what it works. That's how it works. It's the opposite of Christianity, if you want to put it that way. But that's how it works. So, I truly believe that with people like Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand, Prime Minister of New Zealand, you'll see when she did her resignation speech some months ago, pardon me, it was pretty much almost identical to McGowan's speech yesterday or the day before in Western Australia. Same thing, exactly the same thing. They said, oh, well, like Boris Johnson, very tired, and the whole COVID thing took a lot out of us. I've been arguing with people under a lot of pressure. I've had enough. They all said the same thing. It's like everybody gets handed out one of these speeches, and just insert your name, I, blah, 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 and then you just go and give the speech. The person that steps in picks up the reins and they keep going. This is a deliberate ploy, in my opinion. They do this, they've got this worked out. It's something that's very, very deliberate. So they make out that this person's gone. You're starting to hate on that person for what they've done. Suddenly they're gone. You got a new person in. By the time you come around to hate them, they're gone. There's someone else come in. This is how they work it. They've got this worked out. They've been working on this since 1957, but they've been working on it long before that. But that's when they isolated the coronavirus and began this plan. So, you'll know in New South Wales, when Dom Perrottet lost the election as New South Wales Premier, and Chris Minns from Labor stepped in to make us pretty much an entire Labor country, the very first thing Chris Minns said was, He'd love to go and have dinner with Don Perrottet because they're good mates, and he really appreciates his insights into politics, and he doesn't want to lose him to politics, and he hopes he sticks around. And oh my God, I'm like, well, hang on a second. Opposition parties, opposition policies. That's just bullshit. All smoke and mirrors, all rubbish to make you think that you've got some say in anything and you've got nothing. It's a joke. Voting system's a joke. Two-party preferred. What a joke. Preferences then. Preferences. They go to people you don't even vote for. It's mental. And you believe this. You've got to be crazy. And when election time comes around, myself, I used to get worked up into a flather about it. And what happens now? Now my eyes are popped wide open. I'm like, really? Just a joke. Chris Minns, 3 days in, mandated the vaccines. Popped a new mandate in, said, no, we're mandating this for the healthcare sector worker, and all those people who were lined up for to return to possible employment with the healthcare sector suddenly stood no chance. It was all gone out the window, down the loo. 45,000 people we've lost in the healthcare sector workers around Australia who no longer want to, or no longer can participate in the healthcare sector because they refuse to be injected with a bioweapon, which, by the way, Dr. David Martin, presented that evidence in the European Parliament last week, that it is an actual bioweapon. Ooh! Oh! Remember all you people that said that I was a nut for saying that? Well, go and watch his video. He gives you the patents, the patent numbers, gives you links to the patents. You can go look at them for yourself. Or you can ignore it and just continue on going, oh, what a load of rubbish. It's up to you. But we're being proved right constantly, over and over and over and over. Chemtrails is another one. It's all happening, spraying all over the bloody world and getting videos sent from all around the world. If you saw them, you'd have to think, what the hell is going on? Poland, Texas, friggin' England, everywhere. Stuff from all over the place. Exactly the same. Anyway, I digress. So Chris Minns mandated that injection 3 days after he got back in, picked the reins up and away he went. Now, you might remember only a few months ago, over in WA, McGowan mandated a fourth for the healthcare sector workers and pretty much for everybody else. So, that's despite most countries around the world being forced to drop their mandates because of pressure. So that's where we are. The little test tube case sitting out in the middle of bum bloody nowhere, and it's us. That's what we are. A test case for everybody else. But anyway, that's what I think. These people are deliberately going at certain times. They're told to go and they go, and the person that comes in picks up the reins and away they go. This is pure theatre. Pure theatre. To keep you distracted from the real thing, which is the Blues taking home the State of Origin trophy. Just looking highly unlikely. They're my beautiful distractions. Those and Tim Tams are my beautiful distractions that I use to ensure that I can stay sane in this life, whether you think that they're this or they're that or they're, whatever. People got their opinions on things, and I wouldn't even care if I agree with you. I'm not going down that road. The point being, everything is a distraction, and I mean everything is a distraction. Everything, because the real work that's going on behind the scenes you don't even know about. You haven't got a clue. And I have some idea, and yet compared to so many people around the world, I have no idea. And so those who are mocking me have even less. They know nothing at all, Jon Snow. They know nothing. And that's the masses. So, it's not all doom and gloom, by the way, because you know the story. In the end, we win. But to get there, and I've said this over and over and over, and I'll continue to say it, and I hope I'm proved wrong, but to get there, we have to go through some shit. The CBDC will come into effect. I don't see that ever being overthrown. I see some countries might rail against it, but I'm pretty sure in Australia they've got it ready to come out. I know that's where the ANZ and Westpac have got it ready to go. So I can't see them stopping it here in Australia. We're not united. We don't have states like in America where certain states under certain governors go, nah, blow it out your ass, we're not doing it. We don't have that here. We're pure labour. The scene's set. The stage is empty, ready for the actors to come on. Peace and light, that old guy, Australia. Thanks for all your concern. I'm okay. Cockatoos. Oh, sake. Peace and light. Oh, these birds. Cockatoos, Australian sulphur-crested cockatoos, they can't fly anywhere without making a racket. Look, by all means, I'm happy you fly, but shut up. but they don't. They make an absolute squawking. Peace and light, that old guy Australia. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much to everybody who's joined my channel. Hit the notification button. You'll know when I'm doing a video, and we'll catch you very soon.